But tomorrow, your beginning may be all grown up. Full-blown puffballs with little lemming children running away from starting something new. And you'll have a whole new collection of beginnings to love, teach, and train, to spend time with, and to watch them grow. Rose bushes, thorns, scars, and all. So this is an invitation to beginnings.
But I want to encourage you, the viewer, to start. Whatever it is that you haven't started yet. I'm still making mistakes, a variety of them. When I look back at the very beginning of Quackalope, which was only about 2.5 months ago, I see things that I've already improved on. And that's the reality of the situation. If you don't start leaning into the project that you want to work on, whether it's a board game or a book or a career that you're passionate about, if you don't lean into it, you'll never be good enough to actually succeed at it. You'll never be groundbreaking. You'll never be starting something new. You'll always be trying to catch up. You'll always be watching someone do it a little better than you can. The other thing that I think I could have told you at the beginning, but now I know, and that I think I undervalued or underestimated at the beginning, is that all of this is about community. From the ground up it is. And it has to be. Now, I knew that when I started. I fell in love with board games because of my family and because of my friend group and because I found community in it. In Washington, D.C., where I didn't know how to connect with anyone, I found people I could connect with in this space. And when you sit down at a gaming table, you're all kind of on the same page. You can start and grow from there. 10K felt like a celebration. Like a number we thought we'd be able to hit, and we were excited to cross that line. 20K. The time of filming this, we're about 40 subscribers away from crossing 20,000 subscribers here on the Quackalope channel, and 20K just feels immense. We didn't think we'd be here. About 2 years into this journey, I've moved twice, produced videos nearly every single week, met some incredible friends, and been able to be a part of such a wonderful community. I was going to do a live stream this afternoon. Just an open Q&A, a push and encourage people to share the channel and get us across that 20,000 line. But the closer I got to the time where I was going to start and do that video, the more I didn't want to. It didn't feel right. 20,000 is incredible. But as we cross this line, the eyes necessarily shouldn't be all on me. It should be on the community. It should be a conversation with you about where we're going, what we're doing next as a channel. And so I jotted some notes. I sat for a couple hours thinking about what this means for us and what the next steps are, because 20,000 is not the end of this journey. It's still, in a lot of ways, just the beginning. And so I decided to do a channel update, to have a conversation with you, to engage in a dialogue about what the next steps are, what the future looks like, what I'm hopeful for, and to remind myself and encourage you all with the idea that we are, in a lot of ways, just beginning. This was a 5-year plan from the start, and we're farther ahead than I thought we would be. But my gaze is still 5 years out. I cannot wait for what's going to happen next. I cannot wait for... I'm so proud and grateful of this community. It's why I'm here in the board game space. Because of you all. I was getting a lot of pushback recently from some friends of mine, arguing or debating the fact of whether or not Jesse really likes board games. And I assure you, I do. I play board games as often and as much as I can. I love every second I've spent with them. I have piles of them, and I dedicate something like 80 hours a week of my life to the discovery and coverage of board games. But there is a point that I think is valid there. It's a point that is hopefully more and more clear in the communities that we run and in the content that we produce here for the channel. It's a point that guides why I am here in this space, why I started producing content, why I will continue and cannot wait to grow this community. I do love board games, but I love this community more. Community over everything. Over games, over coverage, over reviews. I care about you all more. That means if you stop enjoying board games, I won't be offended or hurt. It's okay. That means if we disagree on what games you like and I don't, or you just want to play games, with friends or family, or on TTS, or you never move past Kingdom Death, or whatever the case, I don't care. I'm glad you're here. Community over everything. That's the point of this channel. That's what I care the most about. I cannot wait for us to go hiking or, bake cupcakes or go on an adventure. If you reach out to me and let me know that this channel has inspired you to get started on a project that is widely outside of the board game space, I cannot wait to hear those messages. That you started a project, pursued your dreams, fought for happiness. At the end of the day, I want you to win, and I want this community to help you win. At board games, sure, but at family and relationships and life goals and just your overall dreams. So, to those of you that speculate that Jesse doesn't like board games, I assure you I do. But I like this community more. I think board games play into that, into why this space is the way it is, the diversity of people and opinions and characters that come and sit around the table, the wide breadth of skill sets and interests that we all bring to this hobby, and the degree of social anxiety that a large percentage of us have that allows us to bridge those social gaps when we're sitting around a table and communing over a single thing. Kind of like a family coming together for dinner. We get a chance to sit down and we're forced to be together. And we're better for it. So, as we cross 20,000, today or tomorrow, the community is on my mind. The fact that the community is what has gotten us here, the fact that the future projects that we're working on are built and designed and doing everything we can to invest in the community. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for getting us to where we are now, and I cannot wait for us to grow. I've gotten to the habit of saying, and I truly mean it, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your community. I make games look pretty, but it's everyone that I've met along the way that has transformed this experience and given me the encouragement and drive to, make it to where we are. This year's been hard. The first year that we started Quackalope was hard. The last 2 years have been difficult and challenging and giving me every opportunity and reason and excuse in the books to turn off this channel. From losing a career, losing a ton of income, deciding to make a decision between pursuing this and trusting in the community and trusting in what we had, versus, doing my very best to grasp at straws. I mean, throughout this summer, a lot of times I felt like I was drowning. I think a lot of people were there. And we're getting to a point now where that's no longer the feeling. So thank you. So let's talk about the channel. This is supposed to be a channel update, right? And this is a conversation on beginnings. I feel like I stretch things out way too long, so I'm going to try to go a little bit quicker. Down in the link down below, there's going to be 2 videos that you can click on if you want to continue this narrative. There's going to be a single video from the very beginning of this channel that I titled On Beginnings as well. And it was when I first started talking about what I wanted this channel to be, about the dreams and the stuff I was pursuing. It was when I moved in, it was when I changed studios for the very first time. I moved from one area of DC to another area of DC, from a friend's apartment to my own, and I had a space that I was building myself. The second video down there, for those of you that are curious, is going to be the very first video I ever posted on YouTube. It is from when I was in college, I believe a freshman or a sophomore in 2013, and it is as well on beginnings. You see, this journey for me didn't start with Quackalope. It started earlier. It started by focusing on conversations with people, on encouraging people in the same way that Zay Frank and DeFranco encouraged me to get started. And I wish I'd began way earlier than I did. It's why I'm so committed to telling people to start. Start early and start now. And on this channel, as we've grown, we've had a mix of people leave comments talking about how they came here for board games and they don't really care about the motivational or community-focused stuff. They don't care about my perception of us, or they don't want these conversations about how you should get started or where we're going, or me encouraging you to do something, to pursue your happiness, to win. But that's been part of the narrative from the very beginning. We were just smaller then. That's been part of the conversation and story from before Quackalope was a thing, and the more I dwell on it, the more I'm committed to the fact that this channel is about board games, but it's about community first. Does that mean we're moving away from board games in any sense of the word? Absolutely not. But over the next year or so, you're going to see us do everything we can to collaborate and reach out and tell stories about people, about this space, about the characters that are content creators or publishers or designers, the people that are brought together through the art of board gaming, the communities that form. We're going to do everything we can to invest in those because we always have. It's always been where my heart has been, and it's where my interest and desire still lies. And moving forward, I'd like to recommit to that idea. Recommit to the idea of growing and showing and displaying how incredible these people are. So, if you're here for board games, we're going to be doing a lot of board game coverage, and I'm super excited that you're here. I hope you benefit from our reviews and how to plays and intro guides and everything we're doing. But if you're here for community, get excited, because next year we're going to be doubling down on that. That doesn't mean more of these conversational videos. We'll be separating those. I mean, the amount of these that we have on the channel won't be, too much. It won't be larger than what we have currently. But you're going to see more people here. You're going to see more stories. We're going to have more and more opportunities to collaborate. Next year, I'm going on a road trip. And depending on the state of the world, the degree to which I interact with people, of course, will be mediated and done responsibly. But next year, I'm going to be taking a 8-month journey across all 50 states. Possibly longer, depending on how long the trip takes. But that's the plan. We're going to do everything we can to collaborate and work with and talk with and show off how incredible this space is. We're going to be working with every single channel that opens their door to us. We're going to be meeting with you, the Patreon supporters, with you, the community here. If the world gets to a point where it is responsible to do so, we're hopefully going to have some small gatherings and go out for a hike or have some ice cream and play board games for an afternoon. And I will be documenting and telling that story and that journey every step of the way. The stuff we've done with Sarah Shaw, with Alexander Radcliffe, or even with Jan as he's still been up in Washington, D.C., all of that stuff are test runs and experiments for what's going to be going on next year. So get excited. If you've enjoyed that content, if you've enjoyed the interviews, the collaborations, showing just a mix and a range of characters on this channel, we're bringing that. Now, another big announcement for the channel is that Jan will and should be launching his own studio up in DC to produce more of the board game focused stuff, the board game centric content. Talking about how to plays and previews and full reviews and Euro games galore. Us being separated for the past 8 months or so has been a big challenge, and we've overcome that. We've done well, but moving forward, we'd like to open and extend that opportunity to cover board games in a studio fashion while I'm focusing on community and traveling kind of across the country. So get excited for both of those. This channel will be going through a bit of a transformation, and I am so incredibly excited for that. Let's talk about On Beginnings, the first video I ever made. Again, if you're interested, it is every bit as cringy as you could assume, but a link in the description down below. I thought about posting it here on the channel, and I might do that later down the road. But for now, for those of you that are invested, that want to see where we started, go check that out. It was a response video to Zay Frank back in the day, an artist and community builder here on the platform that I became enveloped with. The way that he worked and leveraged and brought projects together because he collaborated with the audience that he had. I've been unendingly inspired by his role and position in this space. Kind of the grandfather of YouTube. Or at least the grandfather of YouTube communities. And so, go check that out and leave a comment over there if you do. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And for those of you that are just trying to start something, whether it is board game related or not, I hope it gives you some context and some inspiration to begin your own thing. In a lot of ways, this video is another invitation to beginnings. We've come a long way. I'm super proud of where we are. Super excited for where we are. But I'm even more excited for the next 3 years. The next 5 years. The next step and stage in this project. So, what do we have that I'm proud of? And what's next? Right now, we're running a few different communities and areas that I'm super inspired by and excited to share with you. We have a very active and healthy Patreon community. I will be doing more and more content over there. Time and travel, of course, makes that a little bit more difficult, but that is where we test run and communicate and play games with the people that are here. And so if you've watched this 18-minute mark of the channel and you want to support what we're doing, you want to be a part of this community, you want to invest and say that you believe in, what Jan and I are working on here, swinging over there and even tossing $1 behind us really does go a long way in terms of giving us some sort of stability, allowing us move closer and closer to the point where both Jan and I can be working full-time in this space, focusing all of our attention on building community and covering board games in the best way we can with both of those responsibilities. And so when you swing over there, you're going to find a plethora of other videos, test runs, Patreon-only content, early podcast episodes, some bonus content that's coming out soon, and you'll also get access to our Discord private chat room, where I invite people to be part of this channel. We're doing a lot of collaborations, a lot of TTS coverage, and so the opportunity to play games with me, to sit down and be a part of one of these videos in the future, all of that will be linked directly through our Patreon and then our Discord community. As far as our Discord community, linked down below as well, this is going to be an open platform that anyone who's looking for a game to play can join. We have over 3,000 members over there with almost, or if not at this point, daily games happening. I'm a part of that community almost every single day, popping in to say hello and talk with people and responding to messages. and I am so proud of what the moderator team and the community there has built. So if you're looking to be more connected, if you're looking to play board games or be taught board games or just hang out with us and have conversations about this space, swing over there and join in. It is such a cool environment, and I'm really excited to share it with you all. Along with that, the Thanksgiving convention that we ran, the test run was immensely successful, and we have some exciting news coming down the line around that. Hopefully, we'll be doing more test runs like that, improving on our method and methodology as we go, but there's also an opportunity for other publishers and content creators to utilize that space to host their own events, meaning that community will be built and brought together and solidified in that space. So if you want to be a part of where digital conversations and digital conventions are going, swing over to the paddle, swing over to our Discord, and join in there. We also have a podcast we've been running for about 2 months now. Jan Bigas has been entirely responsible for that, and it is in collaboration with Board Game Co. I'm so excited and proud of where that is, and so make sure that you check out the Quackalope podcast. We have 2 shows on that, Played It Once, where we do a deep dive or a quick impressions on a game that we've only played once. We usually skirt those rules and have a lot more than just one play. We also use that platform to collaborate with as many people as possible. We just recorded some episodes with some big names in this industry, and so you'll want to be subscribed if you want to hear some publishers talk about other publishers' games. And then along with that, we have the Weekly Quack with Board Game Co. It's going to be our weekly analysis of games that are coming or going from our personal shelves, things that we find interesting in this industry, or just updates overall, and then finally deep dives into things that are on our radar, whether that is brand new games in the space, things that are coming down the line that are now available, or Kickstarter coverage, and whether or not we're backing certain games. So, if that sounds interesting to you, it's about an hour-long show 2 times a week, and we'd love for you to stop by and listen to it. Again, link in the description down below. Finally, if you want to be part of our Facebook community, we have the Quackalope Podcast Facebook group. Swing over there, pop in. We have in-depth discussions around board games, around the show, around the things that we're covering, Kickstarter coverage, and a lot of duck conversation. You heard me right, duck conversation. And so swing over there and join in on the fun. So whichever platform you're a part of, wherever you spend the most of your time, get connected with our community. I'd love for you to be a part of it. I'm super excited to have you join in the conversation, and I cannot wait to learn more about you and what matters to you. All that being said, I think that's a video. I think that's a channel update, a picture of where we want to go. My gaze is still far off, but in terms of what we're building, what we're going after, Quackalope fully intends to be the best at building community in this space, about creating a table and a welcoming environment that everyone feels comfortable at. So, I'm excited for where we are. 10K felt like a celebration. 20 feels like a responsibility. To you, to the people who have gotten us here, to the friends that I've met along the way who have invested in our success, to the Patreon members who have backed us and supported us and told us that they believe in what we're doing, to the people who take the time to watch our videos. It still kind of blows my mind that a couple thousand of you sit on the other side of this screen and enjoy the content that we make. So, with all that being said, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this community. If you made it to this part, feel free to share the channel with friends and family. Let's go ahead and cross that 20K mark and begin pursuing the next step. Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some games, because that's where our community is. We'll see you next time. Thank you.